Hi there, it's Dermot here again. I'm just going to continue with my series on addiction. And today I'm just going to look at what cross addiction is and how you can become cross addicted. You see from the little pictures there, you have shopping and drinking, gym, gambling. So there's a whole different array of different things that you can become cross addicted to. But I'll cover that as we go along. So what is cross addiction? And it says the transfer from one addictive substance or behavior to another. So it's just switching over from one thing to another. And early recovery, again, can be due to possibly being unaware of the possible dangers. And most people aren't. Most people think, well, boredom sets in once a person stops, say, example, drinking or drugging, because suddenly there's time to be filled. So they need to find something else to fill that time. And that's okay, there's no problem with that. It's good to be busy to an extent, but sometimes can cross the line again, and that busyness can become almost an obsession or a compulsion, and then before the person realizes it, they can't get enough of it. We'll cover that as we go along. Right. So why do we cross addict? Again, as I said, nature abhors a vacuum. So you take something away, you have to put something back. That's just, I suppose, physics. You can't leave something completely empty. And that's what happens when a person stops drinking or drugging or gambling. They do find the boredom sets in quickly, as I said already, and they have more time on their hands than they would have, because when they're actually in active addiction, they're constantly thinking about the drug of choice or the drinking, even when they're not using or drinking. So that takes up a lot of headspace time and actual physical time. Restlessness, as I say, will set in. Habit, old habits die hard. To replace a habit, to change a habit, you have to replace a habit with another new habit, rather than just trying to stop something, because that makes it more difficult. So it's about replacing that, but that can take time. As you know, habits can take up to 66 days of you being consistent to change a habit. The restlessness there going along with the boredom, maybe the agitation, maybe the craving that's setting in as well. As I say, boredom is the main one. And also maybe feelings. A person is, finding it hard to sit with themselves, finding it hard to sit with their emotions, needs to be doing something, needs to be active, moving about, trying to avoid their feelings as best as possible. And then perfectionism, don't want to be sitting around doing nothing either, want to be doing everything right. Most addicts are perfectionists because they're trying to overcompensate what they were not when they were using. And complacency, another big one. Again, taking your eye off the ball, thinking that you have it yourself sorted out, that you're cured, nothing can hurt you. And then the impatience, as I say, going along with the boredom. Time takes time, recovery is over time. So some people want it now, want it quick, they want to see results fast, but to start to realize that this isn't a race, this is more of a marathon. I used to take it or leave it before, so why not now? In that sense, we have the situation, and I see it in my work, where people, would have come to treatment primarily for maybe cannabis use or drug addiction, cocaine, but would never have seen themselves as having a problem with alcohol, for example. And so they'll say, well, look, I never had a problem with alcohol. I would have drunk a couple of pints or a couple of drinks, and that would have been my limit for the day. Or whenever I did go out, my drug of choice was cocaine or cannabis or marijuana. So I don't see myself as having a problem with alcohol, and vice versa. But what tends to happen there, we see it a lot. People will say, well, I'm okay to go out and have a few pints, a few drinks. But once your mood altered, once you set that ball in motion again, as they say, you do go straight back to your drug of choice, and very, very quickly. I've seen people who've gone out for the night. They say, I'm going out tonight. I'm going out to have a couple of pints with my friends, and before they know it, they're buying bags of Coke or whatever it is, and that's within the same night. It's not over a period of time. what can happen then is you end up with two addictions. You can end up with alcohol addiction and drug addiction. Now, in Narcotics Anonymous, they see everything as a drug. So even alcohol is just a drug that you consume. So that's how they categorize it there. So an example of that, alcohol for cocaine, as I said, Valium for marijuana, codeine for alcohol, chopping, changing. So it doesn't only have to be illicit drugs, it can be over-the-counter medication as well. So if I use another substance, is it a relapse? Well, it will be a relapse because you'll be mood altered again. And that's what will happen. And you'll go back to square one and you have to kind of get back into the recovery mode again. So it's rather than saying it wasn't or denying it to yourself, that's the worst thing you can do, but just accept, well, look, I thought I could, but I can't. And I know now that I can't. As I say, claiming ignorance or using justifications is not going to help you, not going to work. And the whole addiction will justify, rationalize, minimize, and deny responsibility. And then the blaming will start, and the whole cycle will start all over again. So why would I take it? Well, trauma is a big trigger. Some people have childhood traumas, life traumas that have never been processed. And sometimes, you can become re-traumatized because a lot of people might have used alcohol or drugs, as a sedative to take them away from the feelings of trauma. So that can be a main trigger. Again, the habits, just changing habits, and habits take time to change. And a lot of people do things automatically without even realizing they're doing it. So it's about becoming aware. Take it to relax. I think, well, this will chill me out a bit or make me feel better in myself. Distress, the same as relax, feeling a bit stressed. What do I do? Take something to calm me down. For depression and anxiety, if you're on antidepressants, benzodiazepines, again, taking more than you should. And then the euphoric recall, and that's the memories, going back to remembering the good times and not remembering the bad times. And that can actually take over people because they can feel so good in themselves. If they forget about the pain or they've masked the pain, and then they start to fantasize about all the good times and the fun that they had, and then that can be a trigger as well. Addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful, and that's what we say. So you can't be too careful. You can't take this for granted because it's the addictive part of your mind is in your subconscious, and it can click in straight away, and take you over very, very quickly. And again, as you say, for no reason at all, some people have said, but there's always is a reason why, but some people just don't know why they've cross-addicted or gone back using again. So can cross-addiction be like denial? Well, to say to yourself, I can't live with some chemicals in my life. And some people justify that to say, well, look, I need something. I need some kind of fix. I can't do this on my own. Or I know I can't drink, but a little marijuana won't hurt me. I never had a problem with it before. I never used it before, so how do I know? Heroin wasn't legal, but codeine is legal and not as dangerous. So people justify that and think, well, I'll take codeine instead. General practitioner or doctor scripts are okay. They can't be wrong. So the doctors know if you don't tell your doctor that you're chemically dependent, how are they going to know? And so they'll just prescribe you whatever they think will work for you and not realize. So you have to be open and honest with your doctor too. So how does cross addiction work? Again, filling old habits and routines. And that's the main thing, is to try and change those habits. And that's where the consistency comes in. And you have to keep at it day in, day out until it gets easier. Now, there's no easy way around this. Some people think, there's a miracle cure here, someone's going to come along and do it for you, but that's not going to happen. You have to do it yourself, but you have to just keep consistent. Do ask for help because you'll have good days and bad days, and days you'll be motivated and days you won't feel like you want to do anything. But you have to keep doing it and just keep doing it, because the more you do it, the better you will feel inside yourself. The more motivated you will become, but you have to keep it going. Satisfying the feel-good factor. Now, people, again, they equate drugs and alcohol as making them feel good because that's what they use to escape from reality, escape from pain. Again, avoiding psychological discomfort, avoiding reality, as I said already, masking emotion. So addictive behaviors, so it's not so much crossing from one chemical to another chemical. You can cross from, I suppose, drinking to a behavior. And those are just normal behaviors, which we all do, which can become compulsive and obsessive. And they can become harmful over a longer period of time. It's not that they'll become harmful straight away, but you have to just be aware of this, temporarily filling the void again, as I say, the emptiness or the vacuum or the boredom. Replacing artificial highs with natural highs. So some compulsive behaviors, which are quite common, sex or maybe even pornography. Spending, shopping is a big one. Gambling, and I would say not pathological gambling disorder, but it can very much progress into that. But, maybe buying scratch cards or lottery tickets or, just things that people do just to keep themselves occupied. Exercise is a big one. A lot of people go mad into the gym when they get into early recovery. And there's nothing wrong, as I say, everything in moderation is okay. But to go to an extreme, you end up burning yourself out or doing yourself an injury. Eating, but again, not eating disorders here, but just maybe snacking. Alcohol is full of sugar, so most people crave the sugar whenever they stop drinking. So chocolate is an obvious replacement to the alcohol. And yes, when you give up one addiction, especially addictions like drinking or even smoking, you will put on weight because your metabolism is starting to shift and change, but that's just normal. So don't be panicking too much. But if it becomes an obsession where you're constantly snacking, eating sweets and chocolates and whatever, then you have to kind of stop and think, what am I doing here? What can I do differently? Work is a big one, and people try to catch up for lost time, for lost productivity, and they think, well, what I lost out on over the years I was drinking or using, I can make up within the week, and they end up working themselves to burnout. So, again, like the exercise, it's good to work, it's good to be busy and to be productive and doing things, but within moderation. Don't be overdoing it. Don't be going and doing 18-hour shifts every day and killing yourself. So how can I avoid cross-addicting? Well, the main thing is avoid dangerous people, places, and situations. Triggers, whatever will be a trigger for you, just don't do it. Don't go there. Awareness, self-awareness is so, so important in recovery for everything. So you have to be aware of yourself. What's a risk to you? What's good for you? Because addiction is very much habit-based as well. So we are on an automatic pilot and we do things without even realizing we're doing it. So it's becoming aware of everything you do. Mindfulness is a great tool for this, to become aware of your own body, become aware of what's going on within you, and to practice that, because that'll heighten your awareness or your self-awareness. Going to meetings, listening to other people, listening to how their recovery is going, their pitfalls, that also heightens your own awareness because you're able to reflect and identify with them. A quest for wholeness and balance, and that's what we all kind of want. Everybody wants to be happy. I think that's our biggest purpose or our biggest passion in life, is to be happy. That's all we want. And you have to kind of find that happiness. Happiness is an inside job, but you have to kind of search for it. And if you can get a good balance in your life, a good routine, and it's structured and you stick to it, you will feel happier in yourself. You will feel better. You will feel more whole and more balanced, more in control. Your higher power, whatever you believe in, pray to that, pray to God or whoever, and that will also help you along on the journey. And then searching for meaning and purpose in your life, whatever that may be. And recovery is that search for meaning and purpose. That's what everybody's looking for. That we found it in the bottle, or we thought we found it in the bottle or in the drug, but it wasn't really there. It was artificial. So it's about replacing that artificial with real. And then your fellowship meetings, they're very, very important because they're very good for grounding you. and bringing you back to where you're at in reality. And, you know, acceptance that everything is okay, that where you're at is okay, and you're on a progressive journey moving forward. So I'll just sum this up now. So using other chemicals is a relapse, and it is very dangerous as it does lead you straight back to your drug of choice or multiple addictions. And like as I say myself, I see that happening time and time again with people. And they're not aware. It's not that they deliberately want to go back. They just are not aware, and that's what happens. Right. Addictive behaviors are more commonplace in early recovery, you know. And again, they wouldn't be considered as a relapse, but you need to find that kind of happy medium, that balance. Um, you know, it's okay to work, it's okay to exercise, it's okay to do other things, but within kind of moderation. So make sure you work towards that balance. You know, as I always say, 8, 8, and 8: work, rest, and play. You know, and that's including sleep. So it's good to kind of to get that, and if you can get that balance there, you know, you will be more in control of your life. Listening to your intuition, the little voice inside of you, you know, it's never wrong, and it's telling you the right thing, it's telling you what's going on. So, you know, if you don't know what to do, just, you know, ask your body, listen to yourself, you know, meditate or whatever it is. Okay, well, that's the end of this talk, and thanks very much for tuning in. If you want to see more talks, you can subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep on loading other ones on. I have other ones on there already. All right, well, again, thanks for listening, and I'll chat to you soon. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.